We begin with our protagonist waking up in a dark cave, not understanding what the hell is happening to him right now. Suddenly, he remembers everything clearly. He got run through by a demon's sword like a kebab. He realizes he reincarnated, but this time as a monster instead of a hero. An S-rank giant, to be specific. A monster so dangerous it requires an entire army to take it down properly. He possesses the ability to absorb other abilities from creatures he defeats. He walks to some water nearby. When he sees his reflection, he's shocked because he's just a baby cub right now. Meow. The next morning in the city, a girl wakes up and gets ready to leave her house. Her name is Aria, an adventurer of rank D barely scraping by. Already in the cave, our protagonist can't believe he, an honored knight, turned into a monster of all things. Suddenly, a slime appears out of nowhere. He activates an ability called Howling Rock and defeats the slime with a single attack easily. His stomach growls, and he realizes he still hasn't eaten anything since waking up here. He decides to try the slime and ends up liking the taste surprisingly. In doing this, he ends up stealing the slime's ability called Storage Space. He creates a dimensional space where he can store things for later use. In the city, the young woman goes down by the river and heads to a dungeon entrance. The guards stop her, but she shows a pendant and they let her enter without issue. Our protagonist defeats a dragon and receives the ability to fly through the air. Next, he defeats a minotaur and receives Fireball and Ice Lance abilities. He also defeats a golem and gains the Iron Body ability for defense. Soon after, he defeats a venomous serpent and gains the Venomous Fang ability. On his journey, our protagonist ends up finding a treasure chest sitting there. He gets super happy because even in his time as a knight, he never managed to find one before. He opens the chest and finds a giant jewel inside, but it was a trap chest all along. He's teleported to a dark location and is standing on top of an S-rank earth dragon sleeping. The dragon says it condemns him to death for disturbing its precious sleep. It attacks immediately. Our protagonist dodges and attacks with a Howling Rock ability. However, the rock bounces off, making a hole in the ceiling instead, and it didn't cause even a single scratch on the dragon's scales. The dragon is about to hit him dead on. Our protagonist uses the Iron Body ability to protect himself from damage, but the dragon's attack is way too strong for that. Our protagonist almost died by a hair. He's gravely injured from the impact. The dragon goes to finish him off, but he wounds the dragon's face and escapes flying through the hole he opened in the ceiling earlier. Our protagonist is at death's door, barely hanging on. He sees a shadow approaching and imagines this will be his end again, for real this time. He ends up losing strength because of the wound and passes out cold. The shadow is actually Aria, who goes over to him carefully. Sometime later, our protagonist wakes up in a bed, all bandaged up like a mummy. The girl enters the room and says she's happy he woke up finally. He's amazed by her beauty and imagines she must be an angel sent from heaven. She wonders what a tiny kitten was doing in the middle of a dangerous dungeon alone. Our protagonist realizes she thinks he's a cat and didn't notice he's actually a monster in disguise. She feeds him and lets him sleep in the most comfortable spot in the entire world. He feels the peace of this place washing over him. A few days pass and he's already healed from his wounds completely. She says goodbye to him and says she'll be back soon from her adventure. Since she took care of him, he feels indebted to her and says he has to protect her because she saved his life. And now she's his master, and he swears to protect her as long as he lives. He follows her and hides in the boat secretly. She goes to the dungeon, and he follows her while hidden from view. He wonders if she'll be okay in this place alone and worries about her safety. She encounters some goblins and runs toward them, activating her acceleration ability. She defeats them easily and collects their ears as proof. Our protagonist is impressed by her speed and says he's never seen anything like that before. However, he says she must be limited because of the long sword she carries. Another goblin appears, but this one is a goblin mage that attacks from distance. It fires a fireball in her direction without warning. Our protagonist jumps and saves her from the attack. He can't use his abilities because it would reveal he's a monster, not a cat. He jumps and scratches the goblin's face, which ends up falling down the stairs. She asks what he's doing there, following her. They return home, and our protagonist is just pure happiness inside. He's in heaven right now. They go to the Adventurers Guild together. Inside, she's approached by a man named 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐭𝐚𝐭𝐨, who seems sketchy. He's a rank C adventurer with bad vibes. He asks if she changed her mind about joining his group yet. She refuses the offer outright. The dude is ill-intentioned and up to no good, clearly. He goes to touch her with his hand inappropriately. However, our protagonist bites his hand hard. He throws our protagonist up in the air, and he falls right on the guy's face and starts scratching before returning to his throne of rest. 𝐂𝐨𝐴𝐵 pulls out his sword, threatening them. However, the guild receptionist named Arnold grabs the sword and asks if he's really thinking about using his weapon inside the guild premises. Arnold is a former rank B adventurer, known to everyone by the nickname Arnie. 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐭𝐚𝐭𝐨 trembles at his presence and runs away scared. Arya thanks him for the help. Arnie says she has a very cute little friend there, looks just like a knight in armor protecting his princess from danger. She says this kitten saved her life and she's going to call him Tama, and he's officially her pet from now on. Our protagonist is happy because now he doesn't need to follow her around hiding anymore. Arya hands over the goblin ears and completes the mission successfully. Soon after, our protagonist is taking a quality bath relaxing. Arya got drunk and is upset because our protagonist isn't paying attention to her needs. He didn't imagine she drank so much alcohol in one sitting. She says if he doesn't pay attention to her, she won't let him bathe with her. She goes toward the bathroom and takes him along. He says as an honored knight, he won't enter the women's changing room. That didn't work out well. Now, as an honored knight, he won't enter the women's bathroom either. That didn't work again at all. So he says as an honored knight, he won't leave his master's side no matter what happens anywhere. Arya tells him that long ago, the place where she was born was attacked by demons from hell. That's when the Holy Sword Saint appeared and saved them all. Arya says one day she wants to be as strong as her to protect people from harm. Our protagonist says in the past he heard about her reputation. Her name is Alicia. She alone saved an elven village from destruction. She's known as the hero of Ragnarok throughout the lands. The next day, Arya goes to the guild as usual. Arnie says this is a terrible time to be here. She should leave quickly before trouble starts. 𝐂𝐨𝐴 appears and says he was waiting for her to show up. Our protagonist immediately goes on alert mode. He brought a written order from the Baron to eliminate our protagonist from existence. Arya gets sad and begs him to have mercy on them. He says he can't revoke the Baron's order just like that suddenly, so he proposes a duel instead. If she wins, our protagonist will be free, but if he wins, Arya will have to become his wife. Arya thinks about it, but ends up accepting the agreement reluctantly. Outside, they prepare for the duel to begin. 𝐂𝐨𝐴 says his strength is beyond Arya's limit completely. Since he doesn't want to be called a coward, he'll allow her to receive help from someone outside. He asks if anyone will help her, but nobody volunteers at all. Our protagonist goes near her and starts growling angrily. Arnie understands what he wants to do and asks if that's okay with her. Our protagonist is pissed and says he'll make him pay for making his master cry like this. The fight begins immediately. Our protagonist advances and 𝐂𝐴𝐴 attacks him with his sword, but he dodges it. Our protagonist realizes he won't be able to defeat 𝐂𝐴𝐴 without using his abilities properly. Arya advances using acceleration speed. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 dodges and lands a kick on her hard. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 asks if that's all she knows how to do, mockingly. Arya throws some kunai at him, and he protects himself and advances to attack her directly. He attacks while she tries to defend herself desperately. He disarms her and she falls to the ground defeated. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 is already drooling with excitement, saying now she belongs to him forever. Our protagonist doesn't know what to do because if he hits the guy with some ability, everyone will know who he really is. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 advances to attack Arya and tells her to admit defeat already. Our protagonist activates Iron Body ability and jumps in front of the attack, breaking the guy's weapon in half. Next, he activates Howling Ether, which throws 𝐂𝐴𝐴 really far away, defeating him completely. Everyone is shocked by what just happened. Our protagonist realizes now they know what he is, and they'll probably kill him. However, he doesn't care because he's happy to have helped his master when she needed him. They approach, and Arnie says, our protagonist can understand human speech and can use magic abilities. This can only mean one thing clearly. He's an elemental cat with magic powers. They get super happy, and our protagonist doesn't understand anything happening. People are relieved he's not a monster after all. Arnie declares Arya as the winner of the duel. They return home together safely. Arya is sleeping, and our protagonist says he's an S-rank giant, but they mistook him for a cat, and now he's an elf girl's pet. The next day, our protagonist wakes up from that quality sleep like a king. Job's sleep, basically. He gives her some affection and licks her elf ear gently. She lets out a little scream and falls in love with the sensation. Oh, how delightful this feeling is. Our protagonist finds her reaction strange and jumps away quickly. She calls for him and asks him to do it more, please. Our protagonist is shocked by this. He didn't know about this side of her personality. Later, they go to the blacksmith shop together. Her name is Vulcan, a rank C adventurer and blacksmith. Arya introduces our protagonist, and Vulcan is immediately enchanted by him. She holds our protagonist and asks what Arya wants to order, an extended K-45 model weapon. She asks if Vulcan can make armor for our protagonist too. Vulcan gets excited about the idea and immediately starts taking measurements carefully, taking measurements all properly. She spends the entire night forging the armor and delivers it by morning already. And with me it's like this, bro, I work fast. Arya loved the armor completely. She also brought the weapons Arya had ordered before. Arya is thoughtful because she didn't adapt well to the swords, and still doesn't know why exactly. Vulcan wonders what could be happening with her technique. So she asks if Arya wants to form a team with her officially. That way she can see up close what's wrong with her fighting. If you want to, of course. Hell yeah, bro, let's do it. Already in the dungeon, Vulcan destroys some goblins easily. A goblin comes from behind and shoots fire at her, but it causes no effect, and she puts him to sleep immediately. She says this is an ability she developed from being a blacksmith for years. She can induce elements into armors for protection. An orc appears, and Vulcan says, now it's Arya's turn to shine. She draws her sword and attacks, but the orc defends itself. Vulcan observes everything from afar, studying the situation. This won't work out well. The orc is about to attack her, but our protagonist jumps in front and defends her. And right after she finishes the orc off, Vulcan says she already understood the situation completely. Arya's swords are way too long and are actually hindering her movement, and she says on the next floor there are some good monsters to run some tests. A monster attacks, but she can't get close because the monster has many tentacles. It hits her sword and knocks it down. Now she's left with only one sword. This doesn't discourage her, and she goes at it herself. Vulcan and our protagonist notice now she's moving faster because she's carrying less weight. Even so, she can't get close enough. The monster ends up breaking her last sword completely. Vulcan takes advantage and throws a dagger to her. She easily finishes the monster and moves to the next one. She realizes the monster's movements seem slower, but actually it's her who got faster. She cuts the tentacles, but slime falls everywhere around her. She gets angry and finishes the monster violently. Vulcan and our protagonist go to her location. On the way, our protagonist takes the opportunity to steal the monster's ability. He eats it and realizes the taste is horrible, disgusting. He gains the abilities Summon Tentacles and Mucus Spray. Arya doesn't stop slashing the monster repeatedly. She's pissed for getting all slimy and gross. That's the spirit of the moment. Arya says she used long swords because of her admiration for the Holy Sword Saint, but apparently she's not good with them at all. Vulcan says now Arya will be able to go deeper into the dungeon, but first, they'll take a break on the next floor. Since Arya must be feeling sticky from the slime, they'll take advantage to bathe. Now I'm in the mood to relax properly. While bathing, Arya asks Vulcan about the people in her main group. She gets sad and says they separated from each other. Some of the members got involved romantically and ended up getting pregnant. She takes advantage and tells Arya to be careful because elemental cats can crossbreed with other species. Nobody knows what might happen when our protagonist grows up fully. Arya ends up getting happy with this story and tells our protagonist to grow up quickly so they can purr and meow together. Oh no, what a pervert. Our protagonist and Vulcan are shocked by this situation. Stop being so naughty, girl. Deeper in the dungeon, they encounter a Minotaur, a rank C monster. Arya attacks, but her attack doesn't have much effect on it. She's fast, but the damage isn't being sufficient enough. She keeps dodging and attacking repeatedly. She hits its eyes, leaving it blind temporarily. It starts hitting everywhere and ends up dropping several debris in Vulcan's direction. Our protagonist uses his ability and saves her, which leaves her amazed by the scene. Arya takes advantage to finish off the Minotaur completely. She's very happy to have managed to defeat a rank C monster. Vulcan is still in shock from what happened and says our protagonist saved her life. He's a very powerful male indeed. I fell in love with him. Already at night, they hand over the spoils to Arnie and take advantage to celebrate today's victory. Vulcan asks what they think about the three of them forming an official group. Arya doesn't know what to answer because she always adventured alone and doesn't know how a group functions. However, our protagonist thinks it's a good idea and shows he wants to form a group. He takes Arya's hand to Vulcan's, and thus they form an alliance and end the day in celebration. Already at bedtime, our protagonist is being crushed by the girls. In his abilities, he notices a new option appeared called Second Evolution, and it's ready for use. He wonders if he activates it, will he become a true giant and be recognized as a monster? He imagined he would transform just by growing normally over time. Since he needs to activate the ability manually, he decides he won't activate the evolution, because that way he can spend more time with his master. The next day, Arya and our protagonist are walking through the city together. When they see two guys beating up a child, Arya goes to them immediately. When they see our protagonist, they remember the fight with 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐭𝐚𝐭𝐨 and run away scared. Arya asks the girl where her parents are located. She doesn't know because she's an orphan without family. They go to a church where there are several children who know Arya and like her. The nun says she'll take good care of the little girl, and the other children liked her. Later at the guild, Arnie congratulates Arya because she rose in rank and is now rank C. You're not a nobody anymore. Some adventurers murmur near the mission board about something serious. Arya asks Arnie what's happening over there. She says recently many disappearances have been happening in the neighboring city, and they say demons are responsible for them. Our protagonist says, if demons are moving freely, this means they're plotting something big. Arya says she won't allow this to happen and asks Arnie to tell her everything she knows about this. Arya says she won't allow more victims and will do something about it. Arnie says she'll send her with a group because the situation is ugly over there. A hooded man appears and says his name is Cedric, and he's part of the group Arnie mentioned. People recognize him immediately. He's the Duke's eldest son. Vulcan also knows him from somewhere. Arya introduces herself to him, and Arnie just stays back observing them. Our protagonist recognizes his name and says some years ago a great war was fought between humans and demons. It became known as the Ragnarok War that changed everything. Humanity won the war thanks to a young man today called the Great Mage. Cedric was also one of the heroes who gained glory on that battlefield. Arya asks Cedric if their group isn't too small to face the dangers ahead. Arnie tells her not to worry because Cedric is quite strong. Arnie goes to him and starts flirting openly. Arya suspects they have something going on, and Vulcan ends up confirming it. This isn't good at all. Later, Arya and our protagonist are at home preparing for the adventure ahead. Our protagonist notices Arya is nervous and says it's normal since they'll travel with renowned heroes. He licks her face to calm her down gently. She realizes his intention and says she's starting to understand him better and gives him affection. Oh, how delightful this is. They depart on the journey ahead. The other group members introduce themselves properly. Danny, Howard, Kenny, and Marietta are the team. Vulcan already knows them, and Arya introduces herself. They're enchanted by our protagonist immediately. Arya says she loves holding our protagonist, but also loves seeing other people holding him too. Suddenly, they're stopped by a group of orcs on the road. Danny gets off and defeats them easily without breaking a sweat. Arya asks what ability he used just now. Kenny says he didn't use any ability at all. Arya is impressed by the power of the Ragnarok heroes. Already at night, they arrive in the city. A man tells them many people disappeared from here. So he sent a group to defeat the demons, but they never came back alive. And last night, they lost another young woman to the attacks. He finishes by saying for them to rest a bit. They prepared food and a place for them to stay. During the meal, Arya asks why they decided to become adventurers in the first place. Danny says it was because his family was very poor, so this was the way he found to pay his debts. Howard says it was the same thing with him too. Kenny says it was to pay for his sister's medicine, and Marietta was so her father would be freed from slavery. Cedric says he wasn't born to love women romantically. For that reason, he couldn't assume the family name, so he became an adventurer because he had nothing else to do. And besides, you can kill many monsters being an adventurer. He finds this very satisfying to do. Later, everyone takes advantage to bathe together. Our protagonist is in paradise right now. The men are on the other side in the male bath. They can't handle the pressure and decide to take a peek. They go quietly, but are caught red-handed by our protagonist, who gives them a good howl in the face. Already in the dungeon, they're being watched by a demon. He says the time has come to put the plan into action. They're surprised by a group of werewolves, rank C, but it's no problem. Our protagonist tests another ability, water howling. You're crazy, bro. All the monsters are defeated easily by the team. The demon observes them and wonders if our protagonist is an elemental cat, but he's way too strong to be just that. Arya falls in love with our protagonist's strength and says he could use all that power to try to pin her down and try something naughty. They reach the main hall, and the demon appears introducing himself as Beryl, a survivor of the demons that were exterminated by humans. He releases some rank A trolls to fight. They split up to attack, but the demon casts a barrier spell that leaves them separated. He declares his death will be the starting point of his revenge. The troll attacks our protagonist, who retaliates and destroys one of its arms. However, the troll has high regeneration ability. Cedric releases his power and attacks, enjoying himself. The demon recognizes this power and says this is dark magic, and only the Great Mage could use it. Our protagonist attacks again, but doesn't have much effect. He says if he evolved now, he could easily handle these trolls, but then he couldn't stay by his master's side anymore. So he decides to attack faster than they can regenerate themselves. With this strategy, he manages to defeat them. Vulcan attacks the demon, but he dodges it. Arya also attacks him, but he defends himself. Vulcan comes with everything and smashes him with her hammer. "I'm gonna hammer your face so hard." He manages to escape in time, but Vulcan created a dust curtain around him. Arya accelerates and hits him dead on. Before falling, he wounds her arm deeply. She falls to the ground, feeling a lot of pain, and ends up fainting. The demon's dagger was poisoned with deadly venom. The demon says soon enough all humanity will fall to demons. Then he disintegrates into pieces, dead. They take her back to the city immediately. The doctor says she has at most half a day to live. And the only way to neutralize this poison is by making an antidote with an earth dragon's eye. The adventurers are willing to go defeat a dragon. However, Cedric says they don't have time to find an earth dragon. They need to think of another way quickly. Our protagonist flies out the window and says he can't leave his master in this state. He's going to save her even if it costs his life. He goes to the dungeon in the same location where he almost lost his life and encounters the earth dragon again. Our protagonist realizes he won't be able to defeat the dragon without evolving. So he says goodbye to his master and decides to evolve into his second form. He transforms and goes on the attack immediately. He uses his howling flame, but it doesn't even tickle the dragon. It wounds him and then bites him hard. He can't handle the pressure and ends up losing consciousness. However, this is part of his strategy all along. And seeing that opening, he uses his tail to defeat it. He returns to normal and believes his transformation has a time limit. So he'll be able to continue by his master's side. He uses storage and puts the dragon inside and gets out of there, leaving his armor behind. The people are in the room with Arya when a noise catches their attention. They go outside and encounter the earth dragon with our protagonist on top of it, exhausted. Immediately, everyone rushes to remove the dragon's eye. While sleeping, Arya dreams about when she was 13 years old and her village was attacked by demons. They're searching for a philosopher's stone. She's running through the forest when she's cornered. However, an elemental cat appears to help her, and that's when she fell in love with cats. The next morning, she wakes up much better, which makes everyone happy. Already at home, she continues resting, and our protagonist returns to the dungeon to test new abilities he gained from the earth dragon. A minotaur appears and advances to attack. He dodges and uses Dragon Claw, and then uses Dragon Fang to defeat it. At that moment, a strange girl appears holding his armor. She asks why he's using his normal form and where all that power went. He has no idea who she is, but her way of acting seems familiar somehow. She breaks the armor and advances toward him. He's not stupid and already starts running while she chases after him. He enters a hole, and she tries to reach him desperately. Seeing she can't reach him, he doesn't waste time and leaves. "I'll find you eventually. I'll find you." Arriving home, he prepares to take that quality sleep. In the morning, Arya leaves our protagonist in style, and they go out for a picnic. She takes advantage of the moment and asks if it was him who defeated the earth dragon. His reaction says everything she needs to know. She comments she's always being saved by others and remembers when she was 13 years old. The demons advance to attack the elemental cat, but in the blink of an eye, they're all defeated by a woman who appears. She's the Holy Sword Saint, and in the end, she saves the village. A few years later, Arya decides to leave the village to become a great warrior and defend others. She says goodbye to her mother and promises to return when this happens. In the present, she starts crying and he tries to cheer her up. Since they've spent so much time together, she can understand what he's trying to say. He meant it was her who defeated Beryl and did very well. After that, they go to Vulcan to get new armor. With Beryl's defeat and the materials from the trolls sold, she managed to get good money, over 300,000. With this, she decided to buy some equipment. She puts on the armor and they go to the dungeon. Our protagonist uses on them the Lion's Blessing ability. It's a buff that extremely increases all statistics and increases immunity to ice and fire attacks and gives resistance to poison and fear. On the way, a goblin appears. Arya advances even without using acceleration. She's very fast, and the goblin doesn't stand a chance, which excites her about the new equipment. At that moment, the woman from before appears and our protagonist is shocked. Arya asks if she's an adventurer and what her name is. She says she was born from darkness and doesn't remember her name, but feels only our protagonist can give her the air she so desires. "Who do you think you are?" Arya says he's still too young for that. He climbs on her and gets in his comfort zone. She's impressed and believes Arya must be very strong to have tamed him. Arya invites her to go to her lodging since she has no memories and nowhere to go. Our protagonist is already worried, but she says she won't let him be taken. On the way back, Vulcan suggests giving her a name. Arya looks at the sky and asks if she can call her Estella. She accepts being called that. Soon after, Arya gives Estella a bath. It's our protagonist's turn, and Estella protests, saying she also wants to help. Arya says since she's the owner, only she has that privilege. And of course, Estella doesn't like this at all. "I'm angry, bro." Later, our protagonist is sleeping peacefully when Estella calls him telepathically. He's amazed when he hears her voice in his head and asks if she knows he understands human speech. She says yes because he used words when he defeated her. He's confused since she's alive and well. She mentions they faced each other twice in the labyrinth. The guy is shocked when he realizes she's the Earth Dragon. She tells how she was born in the labyrinth's darkness and never needed anyone to tell her she was a very powerful S-rank monster, because she realized it immediately. Every creature she saw she defeated, but our protagonist managed to defeat her. She woke up in the labyrinth and understands what happened, that she was reborn through her old reincarnation ability. She grabs a sheet on a skeleton and uses it as clothing and starts walking through the labyrinth. He asks if she came for revenge, but on the contrary, she gets embarrassed and says he's the first one she found stronger than her and advances in his direction. Arya grabs him, and Estella runs to the corner of the room. Arya says Tama is her pet and won't hand him over, understood, bro? And goes back to sleep. Estella decides to retreat for now, but warns telepathically she loves our protagonist. The next morning, Estella is eating like there's no tomorrow. She asks what kind of woman Arya is, who managed to tame someone as strong as him. He tells her she's his savior, the master he swore to serve. This makes her uncomfortable. He takes advantage and asks her not to reveal to Arya he's a giant, because if she finds out they can't be together. She says she'll make him fall in love with her. Arya has the feeling they're communicating with each other. Soon after, they walk around the city trying to bring back Estella's memories. Arya asks if she remembers anything, not remembering nothing. She says she only remembers being constantly in battle. She thinks Estella might be an adventurer since she was surprised when she saw her in the labyrinth. To make her remember, Arya suggests she try adventurer training. They go to Vulcan, where she chooses an armor. Since the labyrinth is dangerous, Arya mentions she'll need gauntlets for protection. She says her arms can handle it and transforms them into dragon parts. They're impressed, and Arya asks if she's a dragonite. What do you mean? I understand. She has no idea what that is, but that's what happens when she releases her power. Our protagonist says she's a dragonite, rare humans with abilities to grant dragon parts to themselves. Next, she looks at the swords, and ends up going to a room where she finds a large shield and comments she liked it. Vulcan is amazed by her strength holding it with just one hand. By her personality, our protagonist thought she would choose a sword or axe. She says she didn't care about defense when she was a dragon, but learned a lesson after losing to our protagonist about the importance of defense. She asks if he feels bad for having defeated her, and says he doesn't need to worry because actually, she's grateful to him. Being defeated taught her what true strength is, and also love. She drops the shield and runs after a weapon. Vulcan trembles like a green stick trying to hold the shield. Help me! Estella finds a sword that's perfect for her, and Arya suggests testing it in the dungeon. On the way to the labyrinth, Estella gets excited and runs off after some monster. 3 goblins are eating their meal unworried when they appear. The goblins attack them. Estella drops her equipment and transforms, easily defeating them. Is that all? One tries his luck from behind, and she grabs the sword and defeats him with overwhelming force. You're crazy, bro. Arya believes it's better to just observe from afar. Due to memory loss, she's forced to fight by instinct alone. Estella complains she wants to fight against something stronger, so they descend another level where they find some orcs. They advance to attack, but don't stand a chance. The next is the 3rd floor, and just remembering Arya already turns red. It gives me shivers thinking about it. You're insane. Arriving there, they try to explain the type of monster she'll face, but she doesn't listen. The monster appears, and just looking at it, she already feels uncomfortable. Our protagonist warns this type of monster is dangerous and advises her to retreat. Still, she advances, and he grabs her sword, and then it slimes her. Out of nowhere, she enters despair, and the girls run to help her. Our protagonist realizes she lost control and is using only her instincts now. He uses his tentacle ability to push Arya and Vulcan away. At the same time, he holds the monster. After that, he uses his ability to defeat it. Estella returns to normal. Since this isn't the attitude of a dragon, he asks what happened. Sorry. She apologizes and comments she still hasn't recovered mentally from the fight she had against him. Our protagonist says she doesn't need to be afraid and he'll protect her, and asks her to fight within limits as a human, not as a dragon. She's happy to hear this and says she'll try her best as a human. She tells Vulcan she'll need some lessons on how to use sword and shield. She gets excited to be able to teach, and with her power, they'll be the best group of all. This makes her remember an adventurer group that challenged her in the past. Individually, they were weak, but together they were a challenge. Besides, they seem to be having fun. That's why she got interested in adventurers. In that case, she gets super excited. Arya goes to our protagonist and comments that tentacle ability is incredible. She asks him to demonstrate on her because she wants to understand better how it works. After that, Vulcan comments, Estella has talent. With just a few lessons, she already mastered the art of weapons. They start planning a coordinated attack where Estella will be the tank staying in front to attract monsters, while Vulcan and Arya concentrate on attacking, and our protagonist will give necessary support. A group of orcs appears, and 𝐂𝐨𝐴 calls their attention. One of them runs in her direction. She defends and strikes him. Fear hits him and he flees. She ends up going after him, breaking the group formation. So our protagonist uses on them the Lion's Blessing ability. They advance and defeat them quickly. Further ahead, they encounter a tentacle monster, and this time, everyone joins together to defeat it. The next day, they go to the guild to register 𝐂𝐿𝐴 as an adventurer. However, before doing this, Arnie mentions someone is looking for Arya. A man appears and says his name is Lace, and he needs her help escorting precious cargo. Vulcan says she won't be able to go with them because the capital made a large order with her, but promises to catch up with them as soon as she finishes. Night arrives, and the man takes them to the cargo. He removes the cloth, and everyone is shocked. He reveals he won at auction the skeleton of an earth dragon. 𝐂𝐿𝐴 starts having a strange feeling. She tells our protagonist seeing the skeleton reminded her of when she was defeated. Our protagonist is worried, but she ends up getting excited and says her heart started racing because our protagonist really is very powerful. Arnie appears and came to warn Arya was promoted to rank B. That's amazing! You're not a nobody anymore. They depart on the journey, and Vulcan says she'll catch up as soon as she finishes her tasks. Already at night, they stop to rest. Lace comes from the forest and hands a lily to Arya. He says his fiancée Elisa loves lilies, so he always came to get them for her. Arya asks what he plans to do with the dragon skeleton. He says a rumor emerged of a great war approaching. A friend of his is collecting good materials to make weapons, and the skeleton will be perfect for it. During sleep, something happens and our protagonist wakes up. He goes outside and realizes the landscape changed. Lace says it's a labyrinth forming. Labyrinths form randomly anywhere. They must leave there immediately. They manage to escape, and Arya says she'll explore this labyrinth later because it must have several treasures. Upon arriving near the destination, Lace says they can go explore the labyrinth because from here it's already safe. Arya is happy because they'll be the first to explore it. Lace tells them to be careful because nobody knows what's in a labyrinth that hasn't been explored yet. Already in the labyrinth, as a precaution, our protagonist activates the lion buff. 𝐂𝐿𝐴 already runs ahead saying she'll destroy everything that appears. Arya is worried and remembers Vulcan gave her a paper saying what to do if this happens. On the paper, it's written that if 𝐂𝐿𝐴 fights by her side, she'll let her hug our protagonist. She comes back and says nothing, she felt a desire to fight by her side. Little bandit. Suddenly a light appears, asking if they're looking for treasures. Yes, we are, and tells them to follow it. Not happening. They reach a dead end and are attacked by rank C monsters. 𝐂𝐿𝐴 uses her provocation ability and attracts the monsters. Arya defeats them easily. A bush starts moving, and from there come two people, a fairy named Lily and another. They're enchanted by our protagonist and say they attracted them here because they wanted to make friends with our protagonist. Behind the bush, there's a chest. Arya opens it and finds a potion. Fairy says, there are other chests around, but they'll need the key being protected by some monsters. They defeat the monsters easily and get the key. Arya asks if she needs this key to open the chest. He says actually this key is to unlock the boss room. The real treasure will be inside there. Arya decides for now it's better to return to the city to rest because they don't know what they'll find in the boss room. Our protagonist agrees, and the fairies ask to go along. Already in the city, Arya tells them to be careful because fairies are rare. They go to 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴 to show the item they got. He's impressed and says this is a rare item. It's called Tear of Truth. It's a potion that after being taken makes the person speak only the truth, no matter how much they try to lie. Fairy and Lily enter the room. 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴 gets strange suddenly. Arya asks what happened. He says it's nothing. This is the first time he's seen fairies and says he has something important to resolve. He'll call someone else to attend to them. Later, 𝐂𝐿𝐴 remembers our protagonist owes her a hug. Arya asks him to do it because 𝐂𝐿𝐴 did very well today. 𝐂𝐿𝐴 is pure happiness. Already elsewhere, Vulcan is arriving in the city. She hears a bell sound and a skeleton monster appears. She defeats it easily and hears the bell again. The person runs away. Already in the labyrinth, Arya activates the key and a door descends. Fairy and Lily say they'll wait outside. Inside, the boss is rank B. It launches some spines and they defend themselves. 𝐂𝐿𝐴 uses her claws and grabs one of the monster's paws. Our protagonist takes advantage and uses his fire ability. Next, he activates his tentacles and grabs the other paw. Arya comes with everything and defeats it. They're happy because it's the first boss they defeated. A chest appears and inside there's an ability scroll. Arya receives the Sacred Blade ability. Upon leaving the room, they don't find the girls, only the pot that was with them broken on the ground. Elsewhere, Lace rings the bell and tells his wife's portrait everything is almost ready. They start searching and shouting for them, but no sign. On the way to the city, they wonder where the two could be. Already in the city, they find Vulcan. Seeing their discouragement, she asks what happened. Arya tells about the fairies and that they disappeared without leaving traces. What happened? No. At that moment, the butler appears with 2 guards. He takes a good look at Arya and warns the Count expects her. He does the same with Vulcan and asks her to go too. The other girls seem worried about being summoned. Estella ends up calling attention. Damn. He looks at her and says the Count will also be very satisfied if she goes. She doesn't understand what he means but refuses. Arya says they're busy now but will visit him in the future. He warns in this city it's a crime to disobey the Count's orders. Immediately Vulcan says they'll go, but first they'll prepare. So he decides to wait for them in the carriage. Estella asks why they need to go to this man. Vulcan mentions she heard some rumors about the Count. Already in the carriage, Vulcan reveals there are rumors the Count is linked to the disappearance of several women in the city. Lily and Fairy might be among them. Arriving there, they finally are in the Count's presence. The butler appears and offers tea to them. Our protagonist already notices a strange smell coming from the tea. The Count insists for them to drink since commoners don't have the opportunity to taste tea like this. When about to drink, Arya also senses a strange smell. Vulcan says she's not thirsty, but the man insists. She brings the cup to her mouth, and at that moment, our protagonist uses Lion's blessing ability. They drink and comment the tea is delicious. The Count is worried and doesn't understand why they're still awake. Estella loses patience and asks where Lily and Fairy are. She grabs him, and the man trembles at his core. He claims he never heard of those 2 girls. She releases him, and the man becomes desperate, saying they're demons. The butler claps, and the room fills with guards. Another guard appears, warning the butler an army of undead appeared in the city. A bell is rung, and several skeletons start coming out of the tombs. People panic and start running desperately. One of the guards warns there are several skeletons coming toward the mansion. Fear takes over, and the Count runs away and asks the guards to leave them aside and focus on his protection. They go to the city and warn people to go to the hills. The skeletons keep approaching. Our protagonist uses his tail to attack them. Arya uses her acceleration and defeats some. Estella advances with everything on top of them and is even sad they're so weak. A skeleton approaches a little girl, but Vulcan saves her and runs, carrying her away. No matter what they do, the skeletons keep appearing. Vulcan arrives and says the only way to defeat them is finding the summoner. She decides to take the girl to the inhabitants and take advantage to guide them. Arya and the others go in another direction. In the mansion, the place is infested with skeletons. The Count is on the roof and realizes they're after him. The bell is rung again, and Arya hears the noise coming from Lace's house. Arriving there, they find him and ask what he's doing. He reveals this is his revenge against the Count responsible for his fiancée Elisa's death. He summons more skeletons, and our protagonist realizes he's a necromancer. Lace says before he could barely summon 2 skeletons, but now he has the help of Lily and Fairy. Our protagonist believes the bell enchanted them and is controlling them. He uses an arrow to drain their mana, and with that a big explosion happens, and the Earth Dragon skeleton is summoned. A mana aura covers them and they go inside the dragon. Estella advances, attacking the skeletons, but the dragon throws her away. Our protagonist uses howling to shatter the dragon's tail. However, its great mana makes it recover completely. Arya uses her new ability Sacred Blade, which ends up working, but this ability leaves her tired right after use. Trying to give her time to recover, Estella advances, knocking everything in her path. In the city, Vulcan returns the girl and then makes a fire barrier to prevent skeletons from passing. Our protagonist uses Howling Flame to attack the dragon. Estella tries to attack it but is hit. However, she uses the shield to protect herself. Our protagonist takes advantage and uses his tentacles to grab Lily and Fairy. Arya recovers and activates Sacred Blade. Estella transforms and jumps high. She throws her shield to pin his arm and then attacks him. Our protagonist becomes a Beyblade and also attacks, giving opening for Arya. Arya hits Lace dead on and manages to destroy the summoning. She goes to him and tries to convince him Elisa wouldn't approve this revenge. The guy doesn't even listen. He says he'll never forgive the Count and rings the bell one more time. I'm telling you, bro, one of the skeletons goes to him and reveals itself as his wife. The man starts crying and apologizes for what he did. She says he must apologize and repent for his crimes. He agrees to do it. Okay, I'm in. Then she disappears along with all the skeletons. In the morning in the city square, the inhabitants gather to witness Lace's fate. In the tent beside the Count prepares to show his authority. Arya appears and serves tea to him. Soon after, he announces to the people Arya's group was responsible for saving the city. Next, he declares Lace will be punished for attacking the city. 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐭𝐚𝐭𝐨 says he did this because he believes the Count killed his fiancée. The Count reveals he really did that. The people are speechless, and he realizes too late what he just admitted. I'm shocked, appalled. Arya holds a bottle and asks if he knows about the missing women. In a moment of desperation, he confesses his butler and he were responsible for their fate. He starts panicking and questions what's happening. Arya tells him she put truth drops in his tea. The people are furious, and 𝐂𝐨𝐴 thanks Arya and the others. After that, the Count and his butler are arrested. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 escaped his sentence but also remains imprisoned. Already at home, the girls take advantage to relax. Our protagonist is happy everything worked out and says this won't be his last battle because his master wants to be a defender of justice and the road is still long. The next morning, they're being congratulated for the good work they did in the city of Gladstone. In celebration, Arya receives the Silver Adventurer tag, promoted to rank A, which makes her very happy. Thank you very much. Estella receives the Bronze tag, promoted to rank B. That's awesome. Arya asks if Vulcan won't receive a promotion. She gets all embarrassed, rolling her eyes. Arnie says she refused the promotion because she prefers to stay in the current classification. Next, they throw a party to celebrate. Arya ends up receiving as a gift from Gladstone several barrels of fruits. All this stuff. However, now, with Lily and Fairy, there won't be space in the house to put these barrels. Arya asks if Vulcan can put them in her house, but with all the materials she has, she says it won't be possible. Arnie suggests she buy a bigger house to set up her base because now her group is quite large, and with the money she earned from the last mission, she can buy a great house. So they decide to do this so they can be a happy family, and everyone gets excited about this idea. The next morning, they go to the real estate sector looking for a house with a well-equipped kitchen, a large yard, and a spacious room. The attendant says he has the perfect house for a very low price. Arriving there, the house has all the indicated requirements. They go to the bathtub and notice it's outdoors and quite spacious. The man gets sad and comments because it's so big he never got a buyer. However, they loved it, and Arya says she'll take this house, making the man very happy. Later, they finish moving in. Since Estella was of great help with the move, Arya decided to reward her by letting her hold our protagonist. She's happy to pet him affectionately. On the other hand, the guy is begging to be saved. The next day, Vulcan appears bringing some lobsters for the house inauguration. During the night, they eat that quality meal together. Later, while sleeping, our protagonist is being crushed. Although he wanted to stay there, he gets up and says he has a lot of work to do. In his last battle, he ended up gaining a new ability called Elemental Explosion. He's amazed when he realizes he also unlocked a third evolution of his giant form. Estella ends up waking up with his voice and asks what's going on. She realizes something bothers him and won't sleep until she knows what it is. The guy gets nervous, but reveals he has a form that surpasses the transformation that defeated her. Hearing this excites her because she realizes he's even stronger than she thought, and the desire to have him only increases, and she runs after him. In the morning, they enjoy breakfast outdoors. I would like to have a snack. Lily and Fairy comment they want more plants in the yard. Arya sees no problem, and remembers in her hometown there were many trees and says she'll call a gardener. Fairy says it's not necessary. She grabs a drum and starts playing, making a tree grow. Seeing the tree, Vulcan runs out desperate. Arya asks what happened. She tells her this is a world tree. Its mythical leaves paint the earth green and form ultra-rare mineral deposits below the soil. She asks if Fairy can cultivate normal trees. She says yes. To avoid uproar, Vulcan asks her to cultivate some to hide the world tree. Out of nowhere, Estella appears in a small water fountain. Vulcan is amazed when she realizes it's a fountain of life. You're crazy, bro. They say these waters cure any disease. Soon after, Lily and Fairy are warned to be careful with the use of their powers because fairies are easily kidnapped by bad people. Didn't know that. Fear takes over and they promise to keep their powers secret. Our protagonist is impressed by Vulcan. Although she's a common blacksmith, the woman demonstrated a lot of knowledge. Vulcan says she'll dig in the yard later. Arya says maybe she'll find incredible materials. She says she doesn't know if she can handle the level of ores down there. Arya says she read a book mentioning few blacksmiths in the world can handle high-quality materials. Our protagonist says these blacksmiths received the title of artifact blacksmiths, which makes him question if Vulcan could be one of them. Arnie appears asking for their help to deal with a powerful monster appearing on the first level. Because of it, there have already been several fatalities. They decide to help. On the other hand, Lily and Fairy say they'll stay home. Our protagonist realizes they don't want to cause more problems. However, as the group's knight, as long as he lives, he intends to protect them. Arya presumes our protagonist wants to say they can go with them, which makes them happy. Already in the dungeon, they end up getting new uniforms and thank Vulcan for the gift. At that moment, a rank E and rank D goblin appear. Our protagonist comments, "It's not normal for a rank D goblin to appear on level 1. Lily and Fairy say they'll take care of them alone." Lily covers her body with mana and at incredible speed defeats the goblin. Fairy uses her branch whip and defeats the other with a single attack. Our protagonist comments they'll be perfect in the group's rear guard. Soon after, they hear a monster's scream. However, 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says this scream isn't from battle, but from fear. Further ahead, a rank A troll appears eating his meal. Arya asks our protagonist to stay out of this because she wants to test how strong she got. So Lily and Fairy start by making an ambush. Lily advances to attack. Next, Fairy uses her whip, but the troll has high regeneration. He gets furious and goes to attack them, but 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 protects. Vulcan takes advantage and hits his foot. Arya uses acceleration and attacks him, but causes no effect. Lily hits his eyes. 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 doesn't waste time and pierces him. To finish, she uses Sacred Blade and defeats him. After that, already at home, they decide to take a bath to relax. After bathing while observing them, she comments, "𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, the holy sword saint, protected the elven village in the past, and she wants to protect her new family the same way. Our protagonist says she's capable of this because she's getting stronger every day." In the imperial capital, a knight runs desperately to the emperor and reports monsters are starting to get restless, as if being called by demons. Elsewhere, 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 appears and says the time has come. The next day at the Adventurers Guild, Arnie warns them they were summoned by the emperor, which leaves them speechless. Although they like the news, Vulcan doesn't seem to like the idea. After that, they leave the city. After a long journey, they finally arrive at the capital. At the entrance, some knights appear to guide them to the castle. On the way, they're impressed by the number of people in the city. Our protagonist comments, "The imperial city is the political heart of the nation, a true place of prosperity." While the others are amazed, Vulcan remains silent. Arriving at the castle, they go to the emperor's presence called 𝒏𝒖𝒄𝒊𝒆. He praises them and thanks them for the good deed done in Gladstone. Out of nowhere, Vulcan reveals she already knows him, saying it's been a while since they've seen each other. Arya is surprised. Next to the emperor is Prince Julius, who tells them she's an artifact blacksmith. She gets all embarrassed and says she intended to reveal this to them over time. Besides, Julius says during the Ragnarok War, Vulcan was also part of the heroes group. She says the reward for participating was being able to lead a quiet life as a common blacksmith. Everyone is impressed. At that moment, a portal appears and a demoness named 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 appears, the famous holy demoness who helps humanity. Arya wonders mentally if she was called for something far from her rank. 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 confirms yes, revealing her mind-reading ability. Next, she asks for their help to defeat the imminent return of the 4 demons who will soon be revived. They aim to break the seal of the 7th living calamity, the 7th demon king called Mammon, and use his powers to revive all demons. Our protagonist believes this is what Beryl meant when he was defeated. Although this new mission is quite dangerous, they decide to help. Soon after, Julius takes Vulcan to a workshop where she'll work to create artifacts for everyone. Lily asks what an artifact is. 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says it's a special weapon made with special materials by the hands of an artifact blacksmith. Arriving at the workshop, she meets others who will help her with whatever she needs. The rest will train to gain new abilities. Julius will personally train 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 because he's also a tank. 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 will take care of training Lily and Fairy. Arya will be trained by someone special, so he takes her to a mansion which was the great mage's home. In the house, she's impressed by a painting. 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 appears and says it's a painting of the first hero and his sacred beast who sealed the demons the first time. Arya is shocked when she sees her and 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 calls her by name, showing she still remembers her. Arya gets emotional and remembers when she was still a child. After 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 saved her homeland, she says one day she wants to save people like her. In the present, 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 notices our protagonist in his comfort zone. Arya tells her he's an elemental cat and also her knight. After that, training begins. 𝐂𝐨𝐴 asks her to attack with everything. She draws a wooden sword, and a wave of energy echoes through the environment. In the blink of an eye, she pierces Arya. However, it was just an illusion which leaves her trembling like a green stick. Even with fear, she uses acceleration and then Sacred Blade. 𝐂𝐨𝐴 dodges and comments Arya passed the test. Even with fear, she advanced with perseverance, since many can't even take the first step, which makes Arya tear up with emotion. In the workshop, everyone is working hard, and Vulcan demonstrates her skills. Already in Lily and Fairy's training, 𝐵𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 realizes the two have a great concentration of mana. In that case, she gets several books for them to start studying, which leaves them quite disappointed. Estella is ready to attack. She asks why he's not using a shield. He says using a shield would only cause more fatigue and comments he became weakened because of his recklessness in the last war. Despite this, she doesn't intend to go easy and transforms and advances to attack him. He makes her trip. She turns and tries to hit him with the sword, but he defends himself. Next, he knocks her to the ground. It was nothing. She fell on purpose. She fell on purpose. He says she surpasses him in brute strength, but if she keeps attacking without thinking, she'll die easily, and reminds her a tank must remain until the end, ready to defend the group. Arya continues trying her hardest in her training. Vulcan appears and hugs 𝐂𝐴𝐴, showing they're very close. Arya asks how long they've known each other. It's been a while. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 tells how they met after she found her master. Arya asks who her master is. She turns all red and reveals she's the wife and servant of her master, the Great Mage. Just thinking about the man, the woman melts completely. She grabs Arya and runs off to tell her love story during the bath. Soon after, our protagonist is bathing with Julius. On the other side are the girls. After hearing the story, Arya asks if she still lives with the Great Mage. She says yes. 𝐵𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says when they learned about the return of the 4 demons, they both traveled to warn the Emperor and reveals she's also the Great Mage's wife, leaving Arya speechless. I think there's room for more, and I think there's room for more. I'd make that deal. Estella hears everything and comments our protagonist is also powerful and deserves to have several wives. On the other side, Julius asks if our protagonist wanted to be on the other side. He shakes his head, saying no. Liar. After that, 𝐂𝐴𝐴 prepared a great banquet, a special dish the Great Mage taught her a delicacy from his homeland, Japan. Our protagonist is confused and wonders if the Great Mage is from another world. Later, while the others sleep, our protagonist decides to take a walk since he can't sleep. Suddenly, 𝐂𝐴𝐴 appears and says he really looks like a normal cat. She asks him to protect everyone when the time comes and calls him giant. Our protagonist gets nervous. The next morning, training continues. Julius advances to attack. She throws the sword away and uses the shield. He notices something and knocks her to the ground. He apologizes for not seeing she was trying to protect the bird's nest. Because of this, he says she's ready to defend those in need because only the strong have that determination. Arya advances with everything at 𝐂𝐴𝐴, but she dodges. Still, she asks for another round. 𝐂𝐴𝐴 says high-level abilities aren't acquired just with effort and talent. She did well managing to go far under her leadership. However, it's necessary to go beyond to gain new abilities. She asks why Arya fights, because if she knows the answer, she'll find the way. Vulcan finishes her special weapon. Estella gets excited because she got a new ability. Lily and Fairy also gained new abilities, but Arya still hasn't. She asks for another round, but 𝐵𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 appears saying time is up. Soon after, already in the Emperor's presence, 𝐵𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says the 4 demons returned but in different locations. Cedric and the Imperial Army already went to 2 of those places. The third is in the kingdom of Alphys. Being 𝐂𝐴𝐴's homeland, she says she'll solve this alone. The other is in the labyrinth where Arya just bought a house. For this reason, the group decides to go there to defend their home. Sometime later, already in their city, they go to the dungeon and also ask for help from Cedric's group. While wandering the labyrinth, they're surprised by a group of goblins and minotaurs. They get excited to test their new abilities and artifacts. Arya advances, and with her new daggers already defeats some easily. The Minotaur tries to attack, but 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 defends and then uses her sword to send him flying. Her new shield absorbs the impact's energy and channels it to the sword. Fairy uses her branch whip and manages to bind the Minotaurs. Lily takes advantage, and now that she can release even more mana, she defeats them effortlessly. Our protagonist is disappointed for not having helped, and the others are amazed by the strength Arya's group conquered. Further ahead, they defeat several monsters, but a group of mutant trolls appears. Cedric's group decides to stay to face them, while Arya and the others go to the demon. Arriving at the entrance, the air climate changes completely. As a precaution, our protagonist uses the Lion King's blessing. Inside, the demon appears and introduces himself as 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆. Julius already draws his sword, and 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 opens two portals, making a two-headed wolf called Orthros and a Cyclops appear. The Cyclops attacks, but Julius dodges and spots 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 opening a portal to leave. Trying to stop him, he advances at high speed and attacks him, but he defends himself. He asks Arya and our protagonist to take care of the wolf, and the rest handle the Cyclops. So Arya jumps to attack the wolf. It tries to grab her with its hell claws, but she dodges and uses Sacred Blade. Next, our protagonist attacks it with water howling. The Cyclops advances to attack 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, who defends with the shield. To have more strength, she transforms. Vulcan comes with everything and hits his horn dead on. Fairy uses a new ability, making a kind of portal appear in the whip. Lily crosses this portal, and several mana shots are released against the Cyclops, agonizing in pain. Julius is already tired, and 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 comments he's no longer the same hero. He attacks, and Julius tries his hardest to defend himself. Our protagonist uses a missile, and at the same time Arya uses Sacred Blade, but the wolf comes out completely unharmed. 𝐿𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 ends up hitting the Cyclops' hand with the sword's energy. It ends up using its blood to create a spear and attacks them. The situation for the group isn't favorable, and Julius is also at his limit. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 takes advantage and attacks him, throwing him against a wall, making him lose consciousness. Finishing the job, he gives a Demon King's buff to the monsters and leaves. With their strength increased, the group starts trembling at their core. The wolf uses needles that end up hitting Arya. Our protagonist gets pissed and without options decides to use his third giant form. In the kingdom of Alphys, Alicia goes to the demon where she finds her bathing. The demoness is called 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, and the two already crossed paths long ago. In that case, Alicia asks if she wants to die again. Although she died once, she boasts having received King Mammon's blessing and transforms into a great dragon. Despite this, she's defeated in less than a second. And Alicia says she also received great power from the great mage. Our protagonist transforms and already sends an attack. Luckily, his appearance made everyone think he became a sacred beast because he's identical. The monsters start trembling at their core and decide to sacrifice themselves with a final attack. The Cyclops asks 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 for forgiveness and plunges his hands into his chest. With the blood, he creates a great sacrifice spear. The wolf tears off another head and releases the great hellfire. Immediately, our protagonist uses howling flame to stop it. The Cyclops aims his spear at our protagonist, leaving him in a complicated situation. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 beats her chest and says she'll protect him. However, Vulcan says not even the artifact can handle this attack. Still, she says she's the only one who can do this and transforms. She starts saying goodbye to everyone, thanking Vulcan for the artifacts and asking Arya to take good care of our protagonist. She remembers the moments she spent with them and comments she had a happy life. The attack arrives and the situation isn't easy at all. Seeing this, Arya remembers Alicia's question and says she fights to protect her friends. Her dagger starts glowing. She jumps high, and after calling her new ability Excalibur, a kind of golden dust is released in the environment, taking the Cyclops and his spear away. The wolf ends up getting distracted, and our protagonist finishes it off. After that, he returns to normal and falls straight into his comfort zone. Arya starts crying and hugs 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆, crushing our protagonist. Cedric's group appears, and everyone is well. In the demon world, 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 realizes his connection with the monsters was cut. However, this doesn't bother him because the man is confident he'll defeat humanity. In the king's presence, Julius tells how Beelzebub had a vision of 𝒏𝒄𝒊 gathering forces and going to the elven village of Lumulus Aria's homeland. Their goal is to get the Philosopher's Stone, a stone imbued with an incredible amount of mana. 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says they intend to use the stone to resurrect the demon king, so they decide to go to Lumulus. On the way to the city, Aria is worried about her hometown. Estella says she doesn't need to worry because everyone is by her side, including Arnie, who also decided to come help. 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 also comments she's no longer that scared little girl from before, and with her new Excalibur ability, it's her turn to save her homeland. Hearing this makes her determined for battle. Arriving there, Fairy sees the huge tree and says she feels great power coming from it. Aria says this is the sacred tree that has watched over the village for years, even before she was born. It's been a while. The village chief called 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 goes to them to welcome them. He's happy to see Aria again, and also thanks 𝐂𝐨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 for coming to save the village once more. To help in the battle, they brought reinforcements from other villages. One of them is the one-eyed elf. Estella looks at her and tells our protagonist she's powerful. They enter the village and the villagers gather on the street to admire them. Lily and Fairy are so impressed by the amount of vegetation in the village they run off into the forest. It doesn't take long for Aria to realize the two disappeared. While running through the forest, they're surprised by an elf and an elemental cat. Next, Aria and the others appear. Aria calls the elf Fion, and the two already know each other. After that, she introduces her companions. Estella scolds the girls for leaving without warning. The cat starts looking at our protagonist, which worries him. Suddenly, it lies on the ground with its belly up. Fion calls him Leo and comments he doesn't show his belly to just anyone. Realizing Leo is the same elemental cat who saved Aria years ago, he decides to show his gratitude and also lies down, showing his belly. Turn into a man, bro. After that, Aria meets with the others for a meeting about the city's defenses. Julius wants to know about evacuating inhabitants, what the size of the village's military force is, and how the Philosopher's Stone defense will be. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 says they do daily evacuation training and also have a large stock of food as a precaution. The man is confident they're ready to defend themselves from a demon attack. Besides, they have the help of the Amazons, a team the one-eyed girl is part of. Aria had no idea such a team existed. He says it was created last year, and the person leading it is someone she knows. At that moment, her mother, Leona, appears, which leaves our protagonist speechless. Aria tries to understand what's happening since her mother never held a sword in her life. Everything changed after Aria left. She went to the forest to train her attack and ended up knocking down several trees. In the end, she discovered she's very powerful and has the ability to turn her normal attack into 2 attacks. After that, 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 takes them to the sacred tree. He says few people in the village know where the Philosopher's Stone is. For this reason, the demons weren't able to find it when they attacked in the past. He positions his hands and recites some words. The tree starts moving and reveals a secret door. Next, he asks the one-eyed girl to stand guard while the others enter. Upon entering, they start descending underground, where they find the Philosopher's Stone, which impresses everyone. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 grabs a stick to demonstrate it's protected by a very powerful barrier. With this defense, they'll be able to concentrate only on the battle. Later, Aria introduces her mother to the rest of the group. Vulcan is impressed by how much the two are physically alike. Seeing they're hungry, Leona decides to prepare something for them to eat. But before entering the house, Aria says she wants to chat with her mother afterward. Soon after, the two are taking a bath. Although they have to help in the battle, Aria is worried about her mother and fears the worst will happen. She says she understands the concern because she felt the same when she left. But seeing how hard she worked in training, she decided to support her. In that case, she believes her powers manifested from the desire to keep the village safe for when she returned. Our protagonist also believes she unlocked her new ability the same way Arya did to protect those she loves. She asks if Arya can support her this time so together they can defend the village. Our protagonist gives that meow to say he'll protect her no matter what happens. So Arya gets excited and decides to support her mother. The two hug, and our protagonist fights for his survival. Suddenly, the door falls along with the girls who were trying to listen to the conversation. To defend themselves, they say they were worried about Arya and are there to help her with whatever she needs. Later, while sleeping, our protagonist tries to leave to stand guard but is trapped in his comfort zone. Leona ends up waking up and helps our protagonist escape. Soon after, she thanks him for always protecting Arya. She comments Arya always mentions him in her letters and believes he's responsible for her maturity. He disagrees because he believes she grew through her own merit. She asks him to continue protecting her, and he says he'll do this until his death arrives. At the sacred tree, the one-eyed girl appears ready to make an attack, but is interrupted by 𝐂𝐨𝐴. She ends up revealing she works for 𝑨𝒏𝒖𝒄𝒊𝒆. Although her disguise was impeccable, 𝐂𝐨𝐴 noticed the perverse flame she tried to hide in her eyes. So she decides to attack. 𝐂𝐨𝐴 dodges and defeats her in the blink of an eye to get beaten and stay quiet. She leaves to warn the village of the incident and doesn't notice the owl escapes through a portal and goes to 𝑨𝒏𝒖𝒄𝒊𝒆. The owl informs him about the Philosopher's Stone's location. At that moment, several portals open near the tree and monsters and demons start appearing. Immediately, the alarm is sounded, alerting the village of the invasion. 𝑨𝒏𝒖𝒄𝒊𝒆 also appears and orders the demons to attack the village. 𝐂𝐨𝐴 doesn't waste time and on top of the sacred tree creates a barrier protecting the entire village. At the same time, Julius is giving that speech to motivate the adventurers. The monsters run toward the village. Upon touching the barrier, some are blown away. 𝑨𝒏𝒖𝒄𝒊𝒆 is unconcerned because he can create as many monsters as he wants. Arnie and Cedric's group are on standby at the village entrance. Leona and her group are also waiting. Arya and the others prepare themselves. Our protagonist uses the Lion King's blessing and they run to battle. Several monsters cross the barrier and manage to survive. Vulcan advances, knocking down several with her hammer. Estella calls the Minotaur's attention. It hits the shield, and then she fires with her sword, defeating several monsters at once. Fairy summons larger whips to make a large portal. Lily crosses, and the monsters take a barrage of attacks. Further ahead, Arya uses her acceleration, and the monsters don't stand a chance. Our protagonist doesn't stay behind and uses Dragon Fang to eliminate them. Arnie creates several ice blades and freezes the monsters. A demon tries to attack him from behind but is defeated immediately by Cedric, who arrives in time. With both side by side, he freezes the entire ground and they start skating, defeating the monsters. Oh, how delightful. It gives me chills. Several monsters try their luck with Leona, but she sends them all flying upward. Seeing the whole situation, 𝑨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 decides to complicate their lives a bit more and summons a kind of S-rank dragon. Upon riding it, the dragon fires a breath of fire against the barrier, making a big hole. They cross, and soon after the barrier regenerates. Immediately, Julius orders an aerial attack. They start firing several arrows, but nobody can hit them. The dragon attacks them, firing several fireballs. The only ones who can face them in aerial space are Arya and our protagonist. So he transforms into his third giant form. He manages to reach them and already fires a howling flame, but the dragon prevents it with a fireball, creating a large smoke screen. Our protagonist passes by them and attacks again, but doesn't hit. 𝑨𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 opens a portal above them and uses it to attack them. Our protagonist takes the attacks full on and starts falling. Immediately, the dragon opens an entrance in the sacred tree and goes to the Philosopher's Stone's location. Our protagonist recovers and goes at full speed to stop him. He tries to grab the stone, but the barrier stops him. In that case, the dragon tries his luck. Our protagonist arrives, but it's too late, and the dragon manages to grab it and eats it. Upon doing this, a shockwave echoes through the village. The tree's leaves start withering and falling. Before escaping, the dragon attacks, making several debris fall. Arya uses acceleration to reach it and clings to its tail. It opens a portal to its world and is happy about its conquest. Our protagonist prepares to attack but gives up when he sees Arya on the dragon. It takes advantage of this chance, and the dragon attacks him. Even injured, giving up on his master isn't an option. Arya manages to climb up and says she won't let it escape. She throws herself, which leaves 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 confused. While falling, the dragon advances to attack our protagonist and both fire their flames. However, our protagonist's flames are stronger, leaving 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒆 trembling at his core. Arya doesn't waste time and uses Excalibur, defeating them. The portal closes and the monsters flee desperately. Arya keeps falling. Our protagonist saves her and also grabs the Philosopher's Stone. Everyone is happy with the great work from both. Arya even comments the two look like the legendary first hero and his sacred beast. Later, they have a banquet celebrating the great victory they had. Julius takes advantage to thank Arya and our protagonist for saving the village. As a reward, both end up receiving heroic titles. Alika calls her Sacred Blade and our protagonist Sacred Beast. She gets emotional and promises to honor these titles. After that, the whole world learned about the battle they fought to prevent the Demon King's resurrection. Upon returning to their city, they're received by a crowd of happy and grateful people. Night falls, and they decide to take that bath. Lily asks our protagonist to activate his giant form. Arya really likes the idea. Estella also gets excited. Vulcan also wants to join the fun, leaving our protagonist in a complicated situation. The next morning, they walk toward the city. This group's adventure is far from over. Many surprises still await them. Meanwhile, our protagonist will continue being a cat who's secretly an S-rank monster. And that's how this season ends. And there you have it, folks. The complete wild journey of our protagonist, who reincarnated as an overpowered kitten who's actually a genocidal monster in disguise. If you made it through this entire epic, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Curious Nerd for more anime breakdowns that expose all the hidden monster identities and harem-building strategies. Hit that notification bell so you never miss when we drop our next recap covering overpowered MCs who pretend to be weak. Drop a comment below telling us which isekai reincarnation anime we should cover next, because we read every single suggestion and your ideas fuel our content. Thanks for sticking around, and remember to stay curious, stay nerdy, and we'll catch you in the next breakdown.